Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome once again to this special breaking news edition of In Time. My name is Nicholas Lamar Soutter. With me, as always, is Mr. Ansgar Odinson.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Internet.
We are here on the cusp of what I think is universally accepted going to be the third president of the United States in 240 years to be impeached by the House of Representatives. This is something that we've been discussing and covering for some time. I think wherever anyone falls on the issue of our esteemed so-called president, I think that nobody would want this, and we do have two guests with us who we're going to be bringing out to discuss it. We've had them on before. They know what they're talking about. With us today is, as always, progressive liberal and Mikey Famine. How are you two gentlemen?
Doing pretty good. Not much going on over here. Kind of a boring day.
It's been a slow week.
Gave the
Nothing to
dog
see
a bath.
It's a slow news day for sure. Yeah.
Did you guys say
I've
something was
noticed.
going on?
I've noticed progressive liberal doesn't watch the show, and the way I know he doesn't watch the show is because he's willing to come back on, having not noticed the fact, that last time he was here, he made all these predictions, and we're like, damn, that's some pretty cool shit. So we're like, fine, we're on board. So we're just like, we here at In Time officially predicts that this impeachment's going to happen, and he's going to win by, how much did you say by? What's going to happen? Okay, we got the dates here, we got everything, and this is our prediction. So we may get a copyright strike on us for that one, but thank you both very much. We will be keeping an eye on the live chat. Our producer Dave McGinnis and Kitty should both be in the live chat, and it's apparently hopping already. And I think there are some questions and some things we'd like to cover. There's the usual. We've only covered this about 3 or 4 times, but let's go over. Ethan, if you could tell me what exactly does impeachment mean anyway, or to be impeached, which is what we're expecting to happen. Oh, but actually, before I even get to that though, so right now the House of Representatives looks like they're about to start voting on it. We expect the vote to take maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and we will know as soon as the vote is done. But we crunch the numbers. It isn't too hard to know where this is going to go, but I think they've wrapped up their last congressman, so this is going to be happening probably pretty soon. So what is impeachment?
Impeachment is, and by the way, hi, and thank you for having me on. Hello.
Hello.
Impeachment is a formal investigation by the House of Representatives to determine whether or not an elected official committed an act which is known as a high crime or misdemeanor.
All right. So now many people think impeachment means to have somebody removed from office. Is that what impeachment is?
It can mean that. It can mean a variety of things. If one is found guilty of the thing that is being investigated, removal of office doesn't have to be part of a guilty finding by the Senate, but it usually is, yes.
All right. So really what we're saying here at this point is he's not going to be removed from office. He will be impeached, but he's not going to be removed from office. What this is basically going to mean is they're going to send the articles of impeachment from the House to the Senate, where ostensibly they're going to have a trial.
Right. So in the Constitution, if the House sends over articles of impeachment to the Senate, that is the trial starting. Like the Senate doesn't have to do anything. That's just the trial starts as soon as the articles are sent over, because part of what happened last night, they were deciding on some of the rules today, and they were also declaring that certain people would be managers, is what they call them. Adam Schiff is one, who's the head of the Intelligence Committee in the House. So yeah, it gets sent over. Someone is appointed to run the trial, which is normally the Chief Justice, who will preside, and then the Senate chooses whether or not they're going to call witnesses. It's a trial.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a trial.
So what are the articles of impeachment for this particular?
They are the abuse of power and obstruction of Congress.
What does obstruction of Congress mean exactly?
That's a great question. So let's step back a little bit. These two terms were picked very carefully by the House. Both of them are somewhat ambiguous. To my knowledge, only one person has ever been impeached for abuse of power. That was Judge English in 1926. He resigned, so the charge was dismissed because he left office.
And so to clarify that, so earlier when we had been discussing impeachment, because you did say impeachment. When I asked what impeachment was, you gave it explicitly what it means in this case. But impeachment, really, anybody. It's not just the president, but it's any public official.
Right.
Okay.
Any elected official, because the fact that they're elected means they can't be fired. Right. You can't fire a president. The only way to get a president out of office is to impeach them, or a federal judge or a district judge, anything like that. Right.
All right. So yeah, you were saying.
Oh, okay. So, obstruction of Congress is ostensibly preventing Congress from doing the work that the Constitution says that they should do. In this case, it's oversight. Congress has the power of oversight. That's because we have co-equal branches of government. So Congress is saying that they wanted all of this. They wanted these witnesses. They wanted this evidence. And the White House said, no, those witnesses can't testify. They tried to prevent a lot of witnesses from testifying who actually did come in and testify. And Congress says, well, all of that was obstructing Congress from doing their job. And we feel that that is a high crime or misdemeanor. And therefore, you should be removed for that.
Right.
So Mikey, what are your thoughts on this?
About time. And I knew it was only a matter of time before they found something that they felt like could stick in the Senate, because a lot of the things that we think are deplorable and nasty and awful and things that a president should not do are not exactly impeachable. And you definitely, even if they are impeachable, it doesn't mean that you can remove him from office for the nasty shit that he says all the time.
The vote has started, by the way. I'm sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
Oh, no worries.
Please.
Perfect.
I just pulled it up myself. That's what I was looking
Yeah, I missed that. That's worth interrupting for us.
Minutes left. So
15. Okay, before it's closed. Okay.
Yeah.
So a couple quick questions. Why should we be paying attention to this and tuning in? And what is the likely outcome of any of this?
Because I'm the host, Ansgar. You think I want to be paying any attention to this? You think I? Oh, you were asking them. Sorry.
I was asking the people with an informed opinion.
Oh, well, if I assumed that was what you were doing all the time, Ansgar, I'd be out of work.
I think the biggest reason that we should be paying attention is watch time. No, I'm just kidding. No, biggest reason that we should be paying attention is that only two presidents have ever been impeached. Johnson and Clinton. Those are the only two that have ever been impeached by the House of Representatives. Nixon was going to be impeached. He resigned. So very exclusive list. Trump gets to join it. Trump has a rally tonight, and he will have his rally after he's impeached, which should be interesting. So, John Quincy Adams said, I've got the quote right here, quote, "The legislature was vested with power of impeaching and removing for trivial transgressions beneath the cognizance of the law." And Adams and many of the other framers didn't feel that you had to necessarily be a criminal to lose your office or to lose the ability to be elected to office, which is one of the things that can happen if you're found guilty. You just had to not be pernicious. You had to be someone who was pernicious or dishonorable.
So the whole big speech that happened about how, that impeachment needs to be super rare and there needs to be this really high bar for impeachment is completely against what the impeachment was enshrined for.
Absolutely. What is his name? I got to find this guy's name. He wasn't one of the framers, but he used to speak in Odinson was his last name. I can't think of his first name.
Samuel L. Jackson.
No, his name is Odinson. I just can't think of his first name. I've got his quote here, though. He said, "As for example, for the Lord Chancellor to act grossly contrary to the duty of his office, for judges to mislead the sovereign by unconstitutional opinions, for any other magistrates to attempt to subvert the fundamental laws or introduce arbitrary power, as for a privy councillor to propose or support pernicious or dishonorable practices. So it had nothing to do with legality. They do mention bribery in the Constitution, but it was about being pernicious or dishonorable, just not being the type of person that deserves the office.
Right.
You've displayed behavior unbecoming of the president.
Yes, or any elected office for that matter.
Correct.
Right.
So we've discussed this before. I think you had mentioned, Ethan, that you think he may resign before the trial starts. I'd like to find out, first of all, if you still think that that's the case. But the other thing I'd like to get into is what have we been establishing and seeing about the trial rules and how it's going to be conducted so far? Because I find personally some of it disturbing what I've been seeing.
Shit show.
Thank you for the commentary on In Time, but for now, if you could talk about the topic, I'd appreciate it.
So they haven't decided on rules. Oh God, that's a whole thing. They haven't decided on rules, and of course, Senator Lindsey Graham and Senator Mitch McConnell have both said they've made up their minds and they're not going to be impartial jurors, which they have to take an oath. So before it starts, they have to take an oath before the trial starts that literally says that they will be impartial, like uses that word. And both of them have said, I'm not going to be impartial. So they've already said that they're going to break their
They're going to violate. So they've said ahead of time,
right?
They're going to violate. They pre-violated the oath. That takes talent.
So that's fantastic. I still do think he's going to resign. I know. I was just talking about this on Twitter today. I do still believe that Trump will resign. Remember that even 8.5 minutes until the vote closes, Trump's the soonest that the trial could start would be like the 7th of January. Mm-hmm. So we've got weeks. I said on one of my recent vlogs, I wanted them to hold the articles for a month because we want Trump to stew, right? We want him to sit there as impeached president and have to think about it. I do still believe that he is going to resign. I think that this will. He's not a person that.
How confident of you are that? I'm just curious.
I'm still very confident. I know everyone thinks that I'm crazy, and maybe
yeah. So when was the last time you visited Bellevue, and how much of the medication have you been taking regularly?
Oh yeah, that's right. It's time for my pills.
He took all of them. He took all of them at once.
I did. Do I have to? No, I seriously do. I do think that he's going to resign. I think he's going to quit.
I disagree strongly because everything about this fool has told us that all he cares about is being the center of attention. And him resigning will remove him from the center of attention. And then whoever Pence takes his place will steal some of that limelight from him. And he can't stand that. So even if he has to even if he gets removed from office, he is waiting for the next reality show. He is waiting for the next book deal. He is waiting for the next way to profit.
I mean, the impeachment coverage is the new big reality show.
That's right. It didn't take him but 2 years to get another reality show.
Yeah.
And it's his own impeachment, and he just happens to be the president of probably the most powerful country on the history of Earth. So,
but here's the interesting thing, and so I want to actually, before we go too much further, so because things are moving quickly on the voting front, I do want to get. I'm gonna make my plug for why I actually do tend to agree with Ethan, and then I do want to get a vote on the live chat. But so I actually do. I'm not as confident as he is, but I think there's a slightly greater likelihood than not, because then he can frame it as, you know what, I was trying to help this country. The Dems made it clear they want to ruin it. I'm not going to play their game anymore. He gets to play the victim. He gets to walk out, and he walks out on a high note. People in his party end up liking him more for it, and then he runs around doing a victory lap afterwards. Is I think where he's going to be headed towards on this.
And there's no chance of him losing the election.
Bingo, that he won't take. He doesn't, and then he can say, everybody knows I would have won. That's why they did this, and I'd have beaten them at the I'd have beaten them in the impeachment too, because everybody knows that was a fraud. But I'm done playing their game.
And when I start thinking about it, and I just think about the fact that he can say forever, "I never lost an election. I never lost an election." I think
that's a good argument.
Like everybody brings up these great arguments about why he won't quit, why he won't resign, and then I just start to think about that, and I'm like, I just think he's going to quit. I don't. I just think
he hates the job. He hates the job too. He wants out. Quickly before Mike goes, 1 in the live chat if you think he's quitting, 2 if you think he's going to stay, 1 if he's quitting, 2 if you think he's going to stay. I'm sorry, Mikey. What were you saying?
He quits everything.
Yeah.
He quits. He has how many bankruptcies?
Yeah.
How many failed casinos? You failed at a casino, a place where people literally throw away money.
You throwing money at you. You couldn't do it.
At the risk of probably being wrong, I think he's going to stay because I think that Mikey's got this one. I think this is the ultimate reality show, and he is loving the attention, even if it's bad attention. I think he's loving the attention, and I think he's enough of a narcissist that he thinks he's going to win the next election no matter what.
So I just want to. We're at 204, yes, and I think we need 218. I believe is the mark.
217 or 218, I forgot.
I think it's, yeah, it's one of those.
Oh yeah, two because 217's 50-50.
Yes, it's
218 would be 218.
Yeah. 207
with 5 minutes remaining.
4 minutes.
347. Get on Twitter, boys.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Pretty well divided, but the twos have it so far.
Yeah, now we're at 208.
What was 2? 2 was stay or 2 was leave?
2 was stay. I think
2 was stay.
Yeah, most people seem to think he's gonna stick around.
It's leaning towards 2, but there's a greter number of 1s than I had anticipated.
Yeah.
So
I just again
6 bankruptcies.
I 100% understand that people disagree with me, and I think every argument, I've seen them all on Twitter 1,000 times.
Tony,
up too often. Yes, I think Tony's correct.
No. What is it? Tony?
and I
love you, Tony.
Tony finds a way to inject himself into every single show. It's good to do what it took you. Oh my God.
Yeah, you never specified about Trump. You just said leaving, staying. So they've got voted out.
Nick, he says I'm getting impeached. Tony thinks I'm getting impeached, and
you just did. The twos have it, sir.
We have a super chat. You want to read it, or
can we mute his mic? I got it. Okay. Kwesa for 5,000 South Korean won. I hope. The Republicans will not cooperate, and I doubt impeachment will go to the actual trial process. Actually, legally, it's required to go to the trial process. In fact, the trial process is starting as soon as it's done.
But it doesn't mean that won't be a sham trial.
Sure.
Process.
I mean, I think McConnell's going to do everything he can to make it a sham, but.
And thank you for that, by the way. Thank you, Kwesa, for get another super chat. We really appreciate it. Please, you were saying, guys.
The Senate can't stop it. Like, as soon as the articles arrive, the trial has begun. Like, it's not like McConnell can't, like with all these bills that the House sends over that McConnell just doesn't bring to the floor. It's not like that. The House starts the impeachment inquiry and then tells the Senate, here's the articles, the trial has begun. So the Senate can't stop it, prevent it from happening.
Isn't Mitch saying something about not allowing any witness testimony?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't know that he said it. I know that is.
Oh, he said it. He said they will not call any witnesses.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
why? Okay. But what? Explain, please.
Explain like how the witnesses
what was his reasoning? I know, Nick, you had explained earlier what his reasoning for not allowing this was. It was like convoluted. No,
it's not convoluted. Okay. So this is very much like a trial. I mean, you have to think of this like a trial. So in a trial, and we'll assume that there's one like a grand jury. The point of the grand jury is really to say, is there enough evidence that theoretically a conviction could be possible? There's a point to actually going to trial. That's a very low bar. If you clear that bar, it then goes to trial. And you have a prosecutor, the defendant, the judge, jury, whatever. In this case, the grand jury is the House. The grand jury is about to vote yes, and then there's going to be a trial. It goes to the Senate. They're going to have the trial. When they have the trial, it's going to be presided over by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. The prosecution is the House. The House is going to send somebody over to represent them, and they will be the prosecution.
15 seconds.
And then okay. So what he is saying is, okay, the House didn't do its due diligence. If they're sending it to us, they should have called all the witnesses and they should have proven it already. That's not the bar. The bar is that's not even remotely close to the bar. But what he's saying is that's
218,
the bar.
by the way. We just hit 218. It's official.
We hit 218.
Oh,
so
it's official.
well, it's not. It's official. Well, it's not official until the vote closes, but it's official that they will make it. Yeah, it's
Right.
It is not. Once it closes, it will be. Yeah. So what he is saying is, he said it this way: we will not do their homework for them. If they wanted the witnesses called, they should have called those witnesses, and I'll get to those two in a second. They should have called those witnesses on their side. They're asking us to do their work. We're not going to call any witnesses for this. That is a gross misrepresentation of the entire process. They don't have to find him guilty. They just have to say, we think something happened, and it's the Senate's job to actually figure out whether it's true or not. And they're going to do that by not calling anyone.
And if you remember, I think the very first time you ever had me on, I read through the Senate rules.
Yeah, you did.
It's not even like the rules are set out for how the impeachment works. There is no not calling witnesses. It's just, who are your witnesses? There's nothing about the speaker decide, or excuse me, the leader decides who, what witnesses or whether or not they have witnesses. It's just, who are your witnesses? And yeah. So.
We've got some super chats, and the vote just closed, apparently.
Oh,
yes. Okay. We're at 224. Okay, so, yes.
First is Quiesa, once again, for 5,000 won. I see. The process is a bit different from when we impeached our own prez in 2017. We sent ours to jail, by the way. Good luck with yours.
Thank you.
Reed Carbonneau. For $10 said, happy solstice, everyone. Sorry to Dr. Zayas for that chat debacle. Don't know what happened there. Love you guys. Keep up the good work. He accidentally muted somebody. It can happen on the phone. Yeah,
his butt muted and then actually hid one of our beloved. And sure, that was a butt modding. Sure, that happens all the time.
Bregwin for $10 says, I think Trump will design and every Republican will crow about having part in that genius decision, and both get out of presenting evidence and having to endorse Trump if he ran again. That is possible. I mean, I could see where it would be actually more beneficial to the Republicans for him to resign, because then they have the victim narrative that is playing well to their base right now. And they don't have to be in the uncomfortable position of having to endorse Trump for another presidency. They can just go full. Look, the Democrats subverted the vote and took the president you like away. There was nothing we could do about it,
This is interesting.
All right, so
I'm currently seeing in the
Thank
vote.
you guys very much for the super chat, by the way. And then, I think that was that's actually only the first article, if I understand correctly. Now that they voted on.
I'm seeing a Republican has voted yes. I don't know if that's a mistake.
I'm really surprised.
I'm a Republican and I voted yes.
The reason that surprises me is not because I don't think that I think that there are Republicans who are on the side. I did not see a Republican taking that political risk when there's nothing to gain, considering the vote was going to go.
So it could be a mistake, and it could also be sometimes the
ghost of John McCain.
The ghost of John McCain. He was a senator, but sometimes the recorder messes it up, and sometimes people will vote a different way than they're expected to, so that they can get something from the majority or minority and say, I won't change my vote until you agree to put a bridge in my district or whatever it is.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Thank you, by the way, all of you guys, for the super chats. And then we do actually have one more, our own Kitty the Atheist. Make sure you're registered to vote. Vote out the GOP as opposed to go out and vote GOP, which I think hopefully is not the message intended there.
Glad to see
Vote
you here
out.
too, Kitty. Good to see you.
Yeah, Kitty.
Kitty's awesome.
She is.
Now I'm gonna throw Ethan under the bus here for a second. I'm put you in the hot seat. We had an idea of voter registering and live streaming like a long time. I don't know what our eventual plan was going to be, but a voter registration drive. So if you guys watch all this cool atheist content and you guys kind of like our weird political content and you want to like really make all places have, you need to register to vote. You have to. You have to register and you have to vote when it counts, or else you get stuck with the shit that we're dealing with right now. So we're going to set that up and we're working on the details. But if you're not already registered to vote, we will provide great incentives for you to do so.
So Article 1 has passed. Are
Article
they
1 has
voting
passed.
on another article?
Well,
Yeah, they're voting
so,
on the second article, and two Dems, I guess, voted against.
Well, that's what I was about to say. So right now what they're doing is they're confirming the vote. That's why you saw that Republican vote just switch back to nay.
Okay.
So there's
Okay.
right
Oh,
now
yeah.
2 Democratic votes that are still at nay. 3 Democrats haven't voted and 12 Republicans haven't voted, according to the official count so far. So they're going to confirm all of that and clear all that up here in the next few minutes.
Who the hell voted present?
Yeah,
Well,
again,
so this is confirming the vote is them going up to, excuse me, how did you vote?
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to confirm. I'm on
Kitty,
with
we'd
your
love to have you on.
biggest donors.
DM me on Twitter. You got my Twitter. Just DM me. We'll figure it out.
Dude,
Also, I wanted to point out that my wife got me this in New York. I don't think I showed you guys this. This is
Oh my
Well,
god.
it's tangerine colored,
That's
so I figured I know what it
amazing.
is, but yeah.
it's right here.
My mother bought me as a joke back in whatever year that was, a talking President Bush doll with with he had all, I mean it was insane. It had like the you lifted up his the cuff of his pants and he actually had the presidential seal on cowboy boots and everything. It was horrible. Oh god.
Apparently the CNN has confirmed that the person who voted present, the Democrat who voted present, was Tulsi Gabbard.
Got it.
Nasty
Okay.
one.
George
so
Mayer,
do you
all
wanna-
votes matter. Unfortunately, when it comes to once you have a system like we have with a with the Electoral College, no, they don't. As an example, living in the LA area, it does not matter in a presidential election what I vote. My delegate will go to the Democrat running. Now, usually I would be voting for the Democrat anyways, but my vote does not matter. If I moved to, for instance, the Central Valley area in my state, my local delegate would go to the Republican, no matter how I voted. So that is the problem with in my opinion, with the Electoral College is no, unfortunately, as an individual, your vote doesn't fucking matter.
Ethan, I did want to ask, why do you think Tulsi did that with her vote?
She's a spoiler.
Tulsi we did a whole show on Tulsi. Everyone should go watch it.
I'll get the
Tulsi has a long history.
Where is that?
That is on my channel, youtube.com/progressiveliberal. And everyone should subscribe too, because we're at 439 subscribers, and I want to be at 500 before the first of the year. So if, like 61 people could go do that real quick. That would be fantastic.
No, everybody watching this could do that. If
That would be
everybody watching this
fantastic.
could do that, there's going to be a second vote coming up. It's starting. I just found out too. He's actually started his rally already. He is in the process of being impeached,
Absolutely.
and he has started his rally.
Yes.
But before that,
He has never stopped
stop
rallying.
to
That's what's so
guys.
funny. That's what's so funny.
No.
He has never stopped rallying. He's the only president that gets elected and immediately has a rally.
Well, he started his re-election campaign the
Yeah.
day after his inauguration.
Yeah.
So
But yeah,
so-
Nick
so
is right. Go
why-
sub
why-
to these guys. Just do it. Do it now. And if you don't, then
We'll wait a second, and then we should have their descriptions. Hopefully, the link in the description. If we don't,
live chat. So if we
Oh,
get
and
someone to post it in the live chat,
let's.
that would be
Oh, that
perfect.
would be great too. Let's do that, and everybody should sub. So why do you think Tulsi did it? She's a spoiler, okay, but
yes.
there's got to be a specific. There's something she's trying to say or do. I think.
Tulsi
Someone would
has
mod
spent
me
pretty
so I
much.
can put-
Yeah, exactly. Tulsi has spent pretty much her entire.
We discussed this. We don't mod you people.
Tulsi has spent literally her entire career attacking Democrats. That's what she does. I don't know why she even calls herself a Democrat. She has said everything from, and I'm not making any of this up. You can go watch our show. We spent an hour and I showed all the quotes where Tulsi.
I'm going to interrupt one more. I apologize, but by you people, I meant the two of you, the progressive. We don't know this team. Just to get that clear, that joke is going to head south on me.
It's okay.
I've already quote mined you. Don't worry.
Absolutely. That'll be up on
So you're
Twitter.
saying. So she spends all her time attacking
Democrats. That's what she does. She said that Democrats aren't patriotic, that Democrats don't support the troops, that Democrats want to take away guns, that a myriad of things. We spent an hour talking about it one night. She is not a Democrat. She should either switch to being an independent or switch to the Republican Party or the Green Party or something. No,
she seems very much like an independent of some kind.
She does, and there's nothing wrong with that. But don't call yourself a Democrat and then say that Democrats don't support the troops. And so one time she said something like the Democrats don't love the Constitution or something. It was like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay.
By the way, Bragwin asked if an impeached president can run for re-election.
So once the trial happens in the Senate, if you are found guilty, there are several things that the Senate can do to you. One of those things would be to say that you can no longer run for office. So theoretically, it is. It has happened to. I've got the whole list here. See, this is why I opened this up. For instance, Robert Archibald, who was impeached in 1912 for improper business relationships with litigants, was found guilty,
is an American,
and disqualified. Yeah, he's Robert Archibald.
Oh, yeah, it sounds familiar. Okay.
And then West Humphreys, who was impeached in 1862 for refusing to hold court and waging war against the U.S. government, was also disqualified from future office. So
I should hope so.
Yeah. So it can happen.
So it all depends on the result of the impeachment itself.
Sure. Yeah, it depends on what the Senate decides.
So it won't necessarily preclude him from running for re-election, but it could
be found guilty. Sure, you could be found guilty and nothing's done to you. I mean, theoretically.
Isn't that what happened to Clinton?
No, Clinton was acquitted.
Was he? I thought he was found guilty, but nothing happened. Okay.
Clinton was
he was acquitted, but he was also disbarred.
Yeah, but that was on a separate. But
that's different.
And if they do decide to remove you, unless they explicitly prohibit you from coming back, and unless you're if you're the president, unless you've started your second term, you could run again and presumably get reelected again, unless ostensibly they disbarred you. Or if you had started your first day on the second term, won't work.
Right.
But anything short of that, you could run again.
There was one other too. I'm sorry. Listen to me. G. Thomas Porteous Jr. in 2010 was removed from office and disqualified. Yeah, he was accepting bribes and making false statements under penalty of perjury.
With that name, I can guarantee you that motherfucker had a top hat and a cigar. Just saying.
He was a U.S. District Court judge in the Eastern District of Louisiana, so most likely.
Most likely, yeah.
So we are now, actually, I think we're down to 5 minutes left on the second vote. Is that correct?
I've got 2.5. I think your link might be a little. I have 2.5 minutes.
Okay. All right. So we're pretty close now on the end of the second vote, and I don't have the numbers on.
I have it right now, 197, 133.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All right. So they got 2 minutes left to get up to 217. They're reasonably close.
But again, it's like last time. It's rarely will we see 218 before the timer runs out because they got to confirm everything, and there's hundreds of people in voting and stuff. So.
It still seems closer than the last one, though.
Yeah, so the second one was obstruction of Congress.
Yes.
That's a little surprising that Congress would be more hesitant. Of course, we don't have the last numbers, but I would think they'd protect their own branch.
Here's why I think they did that. Because you do have somebody who was impeached before for abuse of power. And so that has precedent. I have looked through this. I don't think anybody's ever been impeached for obstructing Congress. So now and I'm talking about by the House of Representatives. It has happened at the state level, I'm sure, 1,000 times over the years.
I live in Illinois. It's happened 5 times in the last fucking.
I'm sure it happens at the county and state level all the time. But I'm specifically talking about the House of Representatives.
It's I think failure to appear on a subpoena is a felony. Now they have the problem that it's been challenged. Now it's working the way through the courts. So as of yet, that hasn't been decided. So that may be another one I can think about. But I did want to bring up too. Tomorrow night we are going to have on Landon Knoll. Landon has experience with this. So we have spoken with him in the past. We spoke with him about YouTube, but what a lot of people don't know is he actually was in government. He worked at the local level and was involved in an impeachment. So we are going to discuss with him the process. He helped set up the trial. He, in fact, I think they successfully impeached and removed from office the target of that impeachment. So we will be talking with him tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. And hopefully he will be able to, as someone who's gone through the process, be able to give us some insight as to what the process is gonna look like, assuming the twos have it.
Yeah, they're at 210 to 147, so I'm gonna guess.
I think they're gonna make it. Yeah. I think they got it.
And 72 not so. Yeah.
Yeah. As Kitty was saying that she lives in Florida and it sucks, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, we should if we could have a poll as to which state nobody wants to live in.
It's gotta be.
That's gonna be all right. Try to maintain our impartiality, but there are a couple states I can think of that are going to get my vote on that one. So now, once this happens, as I said before, and I guess Article 2 has passed. I don't know if the voting is closed, but it looks like Article 2 has in fact passed. Or at a minimum, they've hit 218. So there's now going to be these 2 articles. The second one strikes me as interesting. They're both felonies. So many felonies. It's hard to figure out where you
now, will this be 2 separate impeachment trials, or will this be one trial with 2 articles?
It's one trial with 2 articles.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same way, like you can be tried for murder, breaking and entering, and 20 different things in one trial. Yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about my personal business on the air. That's fine.
Sorry, buddy.
Fine. I'm not bothered. I will be acquitted. You'll see.
And then you're coming back at me in true YouTube fashion. We're going to start so here's what we should do. You and I are going to, let's you and I start like a drama. Let's figure it out. And we're going to attack each other, and we're going
to.
I think that's what YouTube needs right now is more drama.
Did we run out?
By the way, if you're sick of all the drama, come watch the Progressive Liberal. Where,
or if you want to see me play video games and scream at my best friends about politics issues and movie choices, then by all means check out the Deviants.
I think what Ethan is saying is, if you're sick of being entertained, go see the Pro Lib show. There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I keep wondering why we don't get comeback guests. I haven't figured that out yet, but I'm sure there's a reason.
Scientists still can't decide why.
What were we going to say, Prolib?
We just hit 218.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm curious. So you still think he's going to resign? Imagining that he doesn't, what do you think the chances are of actually being removed from office?
Again, until I know what the Senate trial is going to look like with witnesses and stuff, I don't know.
Gotcha.
I can't answer that.
Okay.
Well, now they're saying no witnesses. Now I have a hard time. Here's one problem, which is the setup is going to be set up by the Republicans. So if they decide they want to tank this, they can. Now I have to believe that there's going to be consequences for them at home if they do that. But I've been pretty naive about a lot of things before, and a lot of them, especially if they're
I'm
Republican.
going to be honest. Most of the Trump supporters that I've seen talking about this seem to have bought into the narrative that the Dems are trying to subvert the vote. You know what I mean? That they're using impeachment to try and get him out of there without having to, like, they don't see this as a legitimate legal process. So I'm not sure that there would be a lot of trouble for most Republicans if they tank this.
Yeah, the issue is that a lot of the polls are showing majority of Americans in favor of impeachment, in favor of removal,
Mm-hmm.
and the GOP won by very slim margins in 2016. And this is not doing anything to expand their base.
Right.
Russia.
Yeah, I know.
Russia. Yeah, well, and actually they lost. I think what you mean to say is they lost by very slim margins.
Well, or that.
It was they lost the popular vote.
Right.
But which goes to Ansgar's point earlier, but at any rate, please.
Well, yeah, my point is fighting this isn't going to expand the base.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to bring in independents. Independents are wildly, like, they're at like 60% in favor of removal or something like that. So I'll be honest with you. I don't understand the Republicans' plan. I don't get it. I talked about this in a vlog the other night. And by the way, everyone should watch my vlogs. I upload them almost every night and they're very short. I don't understand this because...
I'm going to interrupt. I would like you to finish that, but the headline now reads Trump impeached. So we have it. It is now official. Donald Trump has become the third president in 240 years in the history of the United States to be impeached by the House of Representatives.
Good.
Please continue.
I don't understand the Republicans because Pence would do everything that Trump is doing, and he doesn't sit on Twitter all day lying. He would rubber stamp all of their judges. He would rubber stamp all of their legislation. He's an evangelical. He is liked in the party. He's liked by everyone in Trump's base. The only thing that makes sense to me, and I gave 3 reasons in that video, but I guess I shouldn't say only, but the main thing that makes sense to me is both the Democrats and the Republicans are raising record amounts of money. They're blowing away their records. So that has to be playing a part in it to the RNC and the DNC. But, if the Republicans play this wrong, they're not going to. They have damaged their party forever. I mean, there are minorities who will never vote Republican for the rest of their lives, no matter what the Republican. If they came out tomorrow and said, amnesty for all immigrants, we're passing universal health care, and I don't know, we're going to forgive all college debt.
Mm-hmm.
There would still be, tons of people who would be like, I'm never voting for them. So I don't understand their long-term goals here, unless it's just to oppress the shit out of the vote, because they can't win.
It seems to me that it's hard to say because I don't know what the polls are like, and I usually don't trust these kinds of polling data. But it seems to me like the impeachment process is further galvanizing his base, making them more and more entrenched. Now I don't know how accurate the polls are you're quoting. I mean, it could be that this is fucking them up, and that they're and that this is actually going to lead to a Republican loss in the next elections. But it feels, just from the climate that I've seen on like Twitter, which is, I mean, this is just completely anecdotal, but it feels to me like, if anything, the people who initially supported Trump are just getting further entrenched. In fact, people that had, like, when the video came out of Trump talking about how he wanted the red flag laws for guns, a lot of Republicans went, well, fuck Trump, I'm out of here. because he's a gun grabber, And then the impeachment stuff came up. Yeah, impeachment stuff came up, and now all of a sudden it's now I support Trump again. So that's kind of what I'm seeing, and I'm again, this is very anecdotal, but that's the climate that I'm seeing, and so I worry about this.
I will say, and Ethan will back me on this one, I think, because the last batch of polls I saw said it was 95% of polls found that 60% of polls were inaccurate.
That is 100% true. I want to answer a question.
50% of the time.
I want to answer a question from the chat real quick. Eric W. says, how many articles were on Clinton? There were 2. It was charges of lying under oath to a federal grand jury and obstruction of justice.
So here's, if anybody's a swimmer, I have a good analogy. So I think the Republican Party is going to continue to use Trump because if you're a swimmer and you've ever swum like competitively, like on swim team or something like that, the usages and the usefulness of a good flip turn. So yeah, the harder you go into that wall and then you flip it, the harder you can get away from that wall. If you go in slow, you can't spin that momentum the other way. That is what they're doing for him. They're going to pump him up. They're going to fill his fucking hot air balloon ass up with as much air as they can so that when it pops, it gives them the biggest explosion, Team Rocket style, blasting off again, and then they can look like. And then we got him out of
most
here.
of this imagery. I really strongly object to this imagery at this point.
That's fine. I knew you would.
I'm not going to sleep well.
But the harder they push him, and then the harder that they flip on him when this happens in the Senate, the better it looks for them. Like, that is their escape route. It's like, this guy's a maniac. We tried to call witnesses in the Senate, and he wouldn't let us. And then now they're the victims.
There is a big difference between the rhetoric before the trial and what it actually happens, but that's still, Mitch McConnell saying that was just strange. That was unhinged, but yeah, sorry.
So you think that they're going to basically yeah, we got your back, buddy, we got your back. Let him blow up in a grandiose fashion, and then he hijacked the party. There was nothing we can do. Glad he's gone.
And the Dems still didn't do the right thing. Look at how crazy they were acting. They didn't even give him a ticket. If you guys would have just let us talk to him, we would have been able to do something. But the Dems were just obsessed. No one could stop them.
You should do political operative work, Mikey. I definitely think you got the chops for it.
Patreon.com/Mikey Famine.
Absolutely.
It's a flip turn, baby.
All right. So to recap, for those of us just joining us, in case you haven't heard, in case you haven't turned on a television, radio, social media, Twitter, or any other such device in the last 15 minutes, Donald Trump is now officially the 3rd president in the United States history to be impeached by the House of Representatives. So
this is a great one. Trevor Lund says Mitch McConnell and the RNC forgot that Dr. Frankenstein couldn't control the monster they created too.
That is a good one.
Yeah. How much power?
We got one more super chat real quick. So Nate Brody, $2. The U.S. is not a democracy. I assume what he's referring to, and this is an interesting one because I've had this discussion before too. Of course, we are a republic. That's why we have one of the reasons why we have the whatchamacallits, the Electoral College, which we were talking about earlier. But it is also, for people who doubt that, the Pledge of Allegiance. Repeat the Pledge of Allegiance and to the Republic. But yes. That's another one. That's definitely an episode that we're going to have. But thank you very much, Nate. And
in fact, originally it was only landowners who could vote, just like a classic republic.
And I disagree. We are absolutely a democracy and a republic. Do you want to get nerdy?
Oh God.
Do you want to get nerdy?
No, you'll never get back to me. We get to be nerdy on this. We get to be nerdy on this if you answer, is Paul Ryan president of the United States?
Ooh! Yeah. How do I end this stream? No.
Okay,
How do I open?
I do have a very serious question though. How much
Sure.
power does Mitch McConnell have to really tank that? How easy would it be for him to make good on basically his threats?
Here's the issue.
Mhm.
Here's the issue. How much does he have according to the Constitution, or how much does he have according to how much the Republicans are going to give him?
Realistically, forget what's legal. How much power?
No
could
one
he
can
actually
answer that
wield?
question.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be a dick. No one can
Right.
answer that question because the Republicans are so insane and so like they do shit, and then the rest of them are like, yeah, that's fine. So
Could-
often
Could
that I
somebody
can't
just
answer your
get a hold?
question.
Is the head of Google, Alphabet, and YouTube, are they Republicans or Democrats? I'd like to know that before
Yes.
we approve of this
Right.
Republicans are insane message. We're really trying to. It would be nice if we could have an episode that isn't demonetized. Mr. Nate Brody, another 200. No, not another $2. Let's
Nice.
try to keep that in. Another $2. Thank you, Nate. U.S. citizens do not have the right to vote.
Oh man,
That's an interesting one.
I think
let's
this.
let's finish
I
this,
think
and then
we
we'll
should.
hit
I
that
think
one.
we should make this a debate.
I mean,
think-
here's the issue. I'm not trying to be mean to Nate, but this is stuff that you talk about in like Government 201. Like this isn't like I'm not trying to be mean to Nate or anything, but like this is like
Yeah, Nate.
sophomore
I think we
year
should
Right there,
schedule.
poli
face.
science.
I think I think we should schedule debate. I do. Pro lib
It's not a
versus Nate
debate
Brody.
though, but there isn't a debate because
have
it's
that be our
just-
first debate.
Yeah.
It's not a debate. You do
Yeah,
have
It's not a debate.
I'll moderate it.
it's
I
it's
will-
a
I will-
union.
I'm going to tell you this. I've seen. You know, if you go to Nate's channel, he's really friendly. He's really nice, and you
He
know,
is.
it's
Very
we
nice guy.
appreciate the support he gives us, and I think he
Absolutely.
does great content.
Mhm.
When he's serious about engaging a person, watch the fuck out.
No, I understand. I'm just saying
I'm
that's-
just saying.
it's a perversion of what's going on. It's
Okay, so what you're saying?
Hold on.
That's
So
all.
before everybody gets all upset about this debate that's coming up, the link is in the chat. Go ahead and sub to ProLib, and that will really show him how mad you are at him.
If you're mad at me,
absolutely.
He hates that shit.
I don't
hate
know. I don't know who this Mr. Brody guy is. I don't know what kind of idiot
Yeah.
program would ever put him on. But if you really want to show him what's what, go sub to ProLib right now. We'll have just brought that up, and that you'll really teach him a lesson.
Absolutely.
I'm sick of his shit.
And then check out his channel too, just to show ProLib a lesson.
That's right.
You know, and you could teach
Right.
them all, and everything's all good.
They don't want to act like adults. Sub to their fucking channel. That'll teach them.
I know. I think, but before you do any of that, make sure that you've established your alpha male dominance by subscribing to In
Absolutely.
Time today,
That's right.
Don't-
right
That's
now,
right.
and hit that bell so you get the okay, perfect. So let's do one at a time. I think they're all worth hitting. So Ethan, just to be serious for a minute, and we'll go back to what we were just talking about right before Nate jumped in.
Sure.
Is Paul Ryan president of the United States?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I could have asked someone who knows what they're doing like Nate, but I thought I'd ask you since you're here.
no. Listen, I've said this. I've said this before because you brought this up the first time I ever had you on
Yes.
our show,
Yes, I did.
and you know it's an interesting argument. I don't disagree with you. I mean, if you're going to look at strict, traditionalist, constitutionalist way of looking at things, sure, technically, yeah.
That was just so people are aware. The very first time I did their show, and since apparently they don't like quality guests, the only time I've done their show, I don't know why. I've had them on mine.
Demonetization was, we got so many strikes, demonetization, letters from the IRS.
I wish that was a joke. I wish that was a joke, but I could see that.
Oh,
So
my God,
we had
that's
I was on, and we had gotten on to that, and one of the things I said was I believe that legally, as of this moment, Paul Ryan is president of the United States. He is right now, in fact. I think legally he just is. And he laughed
Well,
Ethan laughed when I said
not
that, and I was
legally
like,
because he hasn't taken the oath. He would have to take the oath of office.
That's a very fair point. But I walked through how. He would have to take the oath, but I think one way around that as well. But we can. That's another thing. Anyways, at first you thought it was a joke, like I can kind of see it, but when I walked you through it, yeah, that was a better argument than you thought.
It was. It was. I hadn't considered that before, and no, you make a very compelling argument. It's a very compelling argument.
So, guys, I have a $100 Patreon tier on my thing. I will prove to you that I am actually the president of the United States. I don't want to tell everybody.
Dude, I wouldn't want to be.
I don't want to tell everybody, but if you jump on that Patreon, $100, I will reveal the secrets.
We have on my website $1,000 if you can prove I'm not the king of Siam. Which is also harder, even though ostensibly Siam doesn't exist anymore.
Right, I need 10 people to do my thing so I can do Nick's thing to prove it.
No, I give you if you win, but yeah. All right. Well, so for people who are just joining us once again, Nate has brutally challenged ProLib to a fight, which he has accepted. We will be hosting it.
Yeah, sure. I would like to do that. That'd be fun.
I'm right about the Paul Ryan thing. So I think we covered all the important stuff for the evening. There's no other big news going on tonight.
There's one other thing. There is a good chance. I would give it a 65% chance that Trump will be impeached a second time.
Oh, Jesus. Well, now that's ostensibly if the first one does not result in
not necessarily
before the first one's done.
Could be.
No, apparently.
Based on on what grounds? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, you have to go watch my latest vlog. That's over at
Progressive Liberal. Son of a.
Got him.
Why do we have you on here if you're not going to grace us with your whatever this is?
And it's short. It's only like 3 or 4 minutes, and I lay out the whole thing. So
you walked into that like a spider web in the dark.
Yeah, I did. Well, I made the mistake of trusting him. Okay.
I love you too, Nate. I would love to debate you. It would be a lot of fun.
You know what? Honestly, guys, we have a debate set up here. We're prepared to do it and would love to do it. So if that's something you guys want to do,
it sounds like a really interesting discussion. I want to hear Nate Brody's opinion on this.
Debate.
And yeah,
not a discussion, a debate.
Absolutely.
Now Nate started it, so the ProLib gets to choose.
And what I'll do is I'll just hold the Trump doll up the entire time like this, and I'll just shake him around as I talk, like that.
That'd be awesome.
Unbelievable.
He's big. So
it will be the most bigly debate ever.
Absolutely.
You waited until he had the drink in his mic. He was literally drinking when he did that. Look at that. He's still recovering from that one. It will be the bigliest debate.
All right, fair enough. See you on Purple's channel next time. Good. Well played, Ansgar. Well played. I got you. You got me back. All right.
Hey, maybe we'll get monetized again once you move. So let's see. I think he was asking, and I would like to finish that question. So, how much power does Mitch McConnell have? You had said nobody knows, but I do suspect there was a little bit more to that. And since nobody knows, I figured you would know.
Right. He's got a lot. And again, it's going to be more about how much leeway. I'm sorry.
I'm trying so hard
to wait on the super chats. We try to wait on the super chats until like they're apropos, and we try to wait a minute.
No, I looked over and I read it, and I was like, never mind. I lost my train of thought.
I think this is done. The show is officially a dumpster fire. That's a good one. So $9 $10 super chat. Will this be an impeachment or an Cheeto-ment? Oh my God! Well played, sir. Well played, sir.
Mikey and I will be live later on Mixer playing video games. Mixer.com/progressive liberal. Mixer.com/Mikey Famine.
How does it feel to break an entire stream?
I guarantee you what's going to happen next. I guarantee you I know what's going to happen next. So many people are hawking so much shit. Someone's going to break into this channel at the end of this episode and start hawking where. I guarantee you that's going to happen. Just wait to see for that happen. I guarantee it's going to happen.
I'm kind of
okay.
I always like to, whenever I go on someone else's channel, I like to consider myself a carnival barker. Hey, step right up, step right up, step right up. If you want some new political content, I got Progressive Liberal here, the bearded man underneath this.
With your co-host, I'd be doing the same thing. So, ProLib, you were saying.
Who fucking knows?
All right, Ethan, you're on their side. You're trying to make me spit all over the laptop.
I'm gonna say, actually, I'm having a really good time. I'm enjoying this. Part of me is wondering if the reason, aside from the fact that most of us get along, aside from all that,
Other than you,
there's
know.
actually part of me that feels like this huge weight is lifted. He's been impeached. That part's done. We all have acknowledged that he's one of the suckiest presidents ever. It's now in the books. I'm like,
people are
there's a
asking
change in
about
mood.
Michigan, by the way.
What about Michigan?
It's a state.
Sell it to Canada for
I
$45.
think that he had a rally in Michigan today.
Oh no, his rally is right now. He just said, "quote
Yeah,
Did I do a great job when I fired Comey's ass?"
Oh,
There you go.
You know, I remember the president. I think it was the one right before Trump. Man, if he wore a tan fucking suit, they stopped the fucking presses. But this
he had
Chester Cheeto motherfucker can curse on air.
Do you remember the time that he criminally tried to put brown mustard on his sandwich?
That's exactly the one I was going to give. And then he was doing the brown mustard. And then Hannity came out and said, "Oh, would you like some Grey Poupon on that mustard, Mr. President?" He's all hoity-toity and all this. I'm sitting there going like, okay, but Trump is a man of the people because he eats pizza.
No,
he's
a man of the people because he fucking puts ketchup on steak.
Oh,
well done,
God.
steak.
Well done.
Anyone who
Get
puts
him out of
ketchup
there.
on steak deserves to be not just impeached but ejected from the planet. Just saying.
You know, I will
Just
say
on the
this.
planet.
You get your own rocket to the sun.
I
Just
will
like-
say this. Very occasionally, when cooking a brisket, I will use ketchup as a base
Yeah,
for
you
the
can.
sauce I make.
Certainly.
Wait.
but
You
you
don't
add
use a dry rub. What kind of animal
No,
doesn't
no,
use
no.
a dry rub? Do you know?
No, first of all,
what
some
happens to-
steaks
First of all, sir.
can be marinated overnight.
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and that
You marinate it overnight in distilled white vinegar. And
Mhm.
then when you take it out, you put I take ketchup and usually add like honey or molasses, something to it. And I use that as the bonder for the dry rub.
although that's usually what I do
Except-
for ribs. But
Except
Yeah, sure.
if you're gonna use not honey. What was the other one you said?
Molasses?
Then you need apple cider vinegar. You
Oh, sure. Yeah.
amateur.
Well-
you disgust me, white side. Well,
Hey, white people, let me tell y'all something right now. All three of you have just confirmed right now to me, I can trust y'all. Because all of y'all brought up seasoning.
Mhm.
You didn't hit me with the you just grind some pepper and grind some salt and then just put it on the grill. Thank you for all the actual
okay,
flavor of food before
The
you.
way I like to cook, particularly ribs, is first you do the overnight marinade. Then what you do is you
Absolutely.
take avocado wood and you burn that down into coals, and then you cover that and you fucking smoke the shit out of those ribs. Continually reapplying your marinade essentially while you smoke it in avocado wood. That shit is so good.
I'm going to tell you a secret.
Oh shit!
Here's what I do.
Don't tell nobody, y'all. Don't tell nobody.
I get a 2-inch metal pan. Okay.
Mhm.
And then I have a grate that sits on top of it. So the meat sits on the grate and drips down into the pan. And while it's cooking, about once an hour, I go out with a basting
yeah.
thing, that sucks it up. What's that thing called?
A turkey
baster.
It's
The
called
turkey
a
baster,
baster.
yeah.
There you go.
The
You
basting
suck
thing
up the juice.
is called a baster.
Yeah, you're on the wrong channel to me. Forget something like that.
It's been a long day.
It's called a baby maker.
But yeah, you.
Whoa.
In vitro, circa 1940.
But yeah, you get the juice and then you baste it over the top. And apple cider vinegar, yes. Sometimes I have used.
What was? Oh shoot! Hold on, I just got something coming in. You've been demonetized for the next 16 centuries.
Oh, interesting.
Never seen
lime
that from
juice.
YouTube.
I've used lime juice instead of apple cider vinegar, and it works very, very well on pork. Best for pork.
Yes.
We've got a
yes,
couple
apple-
super chats, by the way.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah, I think the first one we can't read legally since we've already that we will get to because we had the pineapple collaborator on here a couple weeks ago, and she would.
I'll
That
read
was. Okay, why don't you read it, Mikey?
But pineapple pizza is still okay. It is civilized thing to do.
Oh God.
First of all, how dare you
Exactly.
on my Christian stream?
On my Christian.
This is no joke, and we're talking about the debates, and I would love to, and I think we're gonna mention the debate again. But absolutely, we've been looking to get some debates on here. We don't want to do flat Earth stuff, so we're trying to find. But would like to do a few debates. I was thinking I might do one, but we actually did talk about, just to cover style, content, moderating, so on and so forth, debates. Ansgar and I have each been challenged by Misha Griffin and
Landon.
we're having him on Landon. They're going to take the pro pineapple side. I was like, you're kidding. I have to block both of them for life just because. I know.
It's terrible.
How do you unsubscribe? I'm subscribed now. How do you unsubscribe? I don't see the unsubscribe button.
Yeah. Well, she's a pineapple collaborator. I wouldn't trust them to have not hacked the system. And,
I'm sorry, I was addressed in the chat, and I need to handle this. Bullionator says you need to talk to Kyle Curtis and learn 95% of cooking, which is incidentally the names of the utensils. Listen, I have $400 tongs. I have $400 baking sheets. I have $400 pepper grinders. And what I will tell you is that, sir, 99% of cooking is the utensils.
Woo!
For sure.
Oh well, I'm gonna go with 95%. I saw that because Kyle's actually good at this. This is what he does. He's got that new show, the cooking show on YouTube, Cooking the Books with Kyle Curtis, and it was. Sorry.
I hate you all.
Here we are.
Sorry. And I haven't caught it yet, but I heard it's good. At least 95% of it.
I'm not drinking anything else for the rest of the film.
Okay, so
I have to.
we do have a second super chat real quick from
Okay.
Carbonneau, who says Nate is right. Would love that debate. American Samoans, Puerto Ricans are citizens who serve but cannot vote for president. Is that democracy pro-lib?
No. So it is not. The question is about the definition of the word democracy, and how republics wouldn't have existed without democratic systems existing before them. So when somebody says that republics aren't democracies, it's like saying, I don't know, I'd have to think of a good analogy, but the one came before the other. The one led into the other. It also, if you're talking about at the federal level, that's one thing, but elections also happen at the state and local level, which in some places are almost purely democratic. In some places are completely democratic. So to say that you don't live in a democracy if you live in the United States it's sort of true, or it's mostly true at the federal level, sometimes true at the state level, and then who knows at the local level. So that's my problem with the argument.
When you prime the debate, you're supposed to say that your opponent is absolutely wrong, and here's why. Why did you concede? Right. Come on, don't concede any points.
Oh, we're gonna let him come back on and poison the well beforehand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. That'll work.
First of all,
that'll work.
The pineapple chipmunk genocidal pineapple collaborator is now in the live chat. Misha, welcome. Thank you. We're going to get you back on soon. And then what was it? Oh yeah, the other one. I got to read this one. Then we're going to start wrapping it up before things descend too much. Where was the other really great comment? Oh yes. Letilimo said Kyle did 95% of the flambeing of non sequiturs reputation. Yeah, that was.
I'd say more 65, but go on.
So a quick question before I know we gotta start wrapping up here, so that people really understand. And I'm not as up on this stuff as you guys are, especially you two in the bottom brackets here. But well, I mean, you're literally in the.
I mean, you made the frames. You could have put us on top, but you put us down. I could have,
but I'm a top.
That's where you thought. That's where you thought we.
Well, to be fair, placing you guys on the bottom was Ansgar's idea.
It was. It was.
Ansgar's a top. It's just how it is.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my God! I should have handed it to him. Okay,
but don't worry. I'll cuddle you both. I'll cuddle
That's
you
an
both.
oop right. That's an oop right there. That's what that is.
No, but no, for the two of you, so how soon do you think we will see the impeachment proceedings start, and what happens next?
I'm going first.
Yes, go first.
I think they're going to take their winter break first.
Okay.
I know they're not going to do. I mean, they voted now, so the impeachment has begun. They're not going to do shit until what is it? Prolib January 7th. Yeah, they're not doing shit until then. We won't hear a peep from anybody until the 7th.
I thought they were required. Aren't they required to go through holidays? I thought. I could be wrong.
No,
Yeah, good luck.
no.
Once the Senate gets it, they have to go. They are allowed a certain break, but I think it's a different schedule, is what I thought. I could be wrong.
I believe that all it says is a timely fashion. I don't think it gives.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
number
Yeah.
or
Oh, a
anything.
timely fashion, as in. Okay. Well, if you're measuring in like tectonic plate time, then yeah. I
Right.
guess.
Exactly. We'll
Okay.
schedule that for the year 1 million. Yeah. I don't know. I will say that the Democrats, I am pleasingly surprised by how aggressive the establishment has been
Mhm.
thus far. And my hope is that Nadler and Pelosi hold fast to this idea that they're not going to send the articles over until the rules of the Senate trial are clear and are agreed upon, possibly even voted upon by the Senate. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
That would be very aggressive from the Democrats, and I don't expect that to happen, but that's what I would like to have happen. What I expect is them just to roll over and die, because that's what the Democrats do.
Roll over and hand them the next election. Like, okay,
Right. Yeah,
sir, would you like
that's
some
enough
more?
wins. That's enough.
So
wins
in
for
other
now.
words, you expect them to announce that Hillary will be running for
Hillary and Bill. It's going to be the Clinton
It's
take.
gonna be the two of them. Yeah. He's gonna be VP.
Right, exactly. And they'll be like, "We'll make Obama AG," and everybody just
A little part of me died out loud. A little part of me died when you said that out loud.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't
we're
know.
gonna discuss why you don't like Obama. We're gonna have that on.
love
No, I
Obama.
know you've given me all your excuses.
I
We
love Obama.
know why you really don't like him.
Unapologetically love Obama.
I have
Okay.
I have my disagreements with
Sure.
Obama.
Absolutely.
I have those things that I don't like about him.
Sure.
And he's from Chicago, and I knew of his.
What do you dislike about people from Chicago, Mikey? What the fuck, dude?
I know, Mike. Jesus.
First of all, their pizza is garbage.
That's true. That's
Oh.
objectively true.
I live
Oh.
in Chicago, but I'm from St. Louis, and we have the best pizza, and all the rest of you motherfuckers are wrong. That's number one. Obama loves deep dish pizza. I know it to be true. He said it during his campaign.
If
and
you're
that
gonna
came
say
out-
slanderous stuff like that on our air, you're gonna no. I don't believe you.
I'm gonna call him. Let me call him. real
Libel.
quick.
Okay. Oh, that's
all-
right. You know all. Yeah, you know all former presidents.
Well, all black people have.
Winston Smith is asking, did he really get impeached? Yes. Both
Yes.
articles have passed. He has been impeached. That means that the basically the trial has started. What will
Yes.
come of it, we still don't know, but the impeachment has begun.
Think of it like somebody getting charged with a crime. Okay, he's not charged with a crime, but the process is similar. So officially today, he was charged with the articles of impeachment.
Mhm.
Now they have to send it to a judge, who will then make a decision in a trial, and that's what happens in the Senate. That's the best way to. It's an analogy. It's not exactly
Consider
the same.
His honor officially impugned.
Right. Yes.
He's impeached. Go to CNN, just load it. It says President impeached. He is
Right.
impeached. That part is done, but it is a common misconception, starts in like 6th grade, that impeachment means to be removed from office. That's not what it means.
Right.
Just isn't. So, and we've covered it for 16 or 17 times. So,
Right.
so what I'm going to do is direct you all to, just because they love to cover it, and because it's a really good political show, you can go to, who are those guys we had on with about the Yang thing?
Fucking Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, she's a big Yang gang. No, do see, and we're going to start wrapping it up. But please, each of you, your shows and your channels again.
Yes, youtube.com/progressive liberal. Please go subscribe. I think a couple of you did, and I really appreciate it. Trying to get to 500 subs before January. That would be awesome.
And that
the channel
shouldn't be a problem.
shouldn't be a problem. The channel started in February, and if I get to, we're now up to 101 videos on the channel, so there's plenty of stuff to watch and complain about. It's fantastic.
So here's
Yell
what
at me, please.
Don't worry. Even if you had only one video, there'd be lots to complain about. But
My wife
go check
agrees.
out the channel anyway.
Oh man, Soutter on fire.
So,
Yeah, I've been.
I'm Mikey Famine. If you hate me, sub to ProLib. And I will get so frustrated. I'm at like 100 subs. He's at 443. So if I can get to 500 by February and he can get to 1,000 by February, I will be furious. And I will rage on the internet for hours if you guys do that for us.
Will
and
you
also
rage
hit up
against the machine?
Yes. Oh, they're back. Did you know that, Ansgar? I meant to talk to you about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and I want to plug something too. So my new camera should be here in a few days, and I'm starting a whole new series of vlogs. I do daily vlogs now, but they're going to get more. You guys don't know this, but I've been doing videography and photography almost my whole life, and I love
That's awesome
to do that. So I'm going to make like almost like little vlog movies almost every single day, where I'll be out walking with the dog and we're talking about politics, and I'll take pretty pictures and stuff, and it'll be great. And so that content's coming, but I had to get a new camera, and it's not here yet.
Awesome.
That's why I'm on a webcam right now. But,
and
all right,
vote
so, Mikey,
Ansgar 2020. I will make the world medieval again. Forget a wall. You will get a wall with catapults on it. And no, Mikey.
Can I be real quick? Can I be head of the Trebuchet ministry?
Yes, absolutely.
Can I master the stocks?
Sure, yeah. In fact, I'm going to ban all guns, but I will make it mandatory to carry a sword. So, it'll be
How about
awesome.
a point-lock pistol?
If it's mandatory to carry a sword, our master debater ProLib will be pleased to carry it around and show it to everyone. Please continue, Mike.
Do you want to be on the show? Do you want to be on the show? Come here.
Oh, the puppy coming? What a good boy.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I'm Mikey. I'm half of the ProLib show. I argue with Ethan about things that he's constantly thinks that he's right about. And we stream and play video games. You can check us out on mixer.com /progressive liberal and mixer.com /Mikey Famine. We're going to be going there after this, not too soon after this. So you guys can come tell us why we're wrong, tell us why we're right, give us some sparks, give us some embers, because we both got monetized.
Yeah, we're monetized on Mixer, so we pay a little bit more attention to Mixer, I'll be honest.
All right, so if we could get that link dropped in one more. No, this is gonna be the Mixer link. Do we have that?
I'll grab it.
I'm
all
on
right.
it.
Yeah, drop
Perfect.
the Mixer
Make sure
link
that
in the live chat.
No, I didn't. I said he was a master debater. What got her thinking about? How could anyone confuse that?
Yeah, I love to
don't
masturbate.
understand.
What'd you say?
Really hard to monetize things. We were good. We were cutting the edge right until that. All right. So,
I put it in the wrong chat too. There we go.
Yeah. You can put that in the. Although you guys may or may not be modded. If not, I can actually pick it up on the thing. Or, so
copy and paste instead of click. There you go.
Like I said, I'm just concerned now. Everybody's been hawking their wares. I am concerned that somebody maybe hacked the stream and is going to put in some advertising at the end of the show. I desperately hope that doesn't happen, but I got a bad feeling about it. Ooh, 9-ball, make America trebuchet again.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh God,
make the world medieval again. And you know what? When I'm president, we're just going to go back to Mike Makes Right. Yeah, no, we're going back to Mike Makes Right. We're gonna every voting season after that, you're just gonna vote with your weapons. Your civic duty will be to grab up the heaviest object and bludgeon someone to death that disagrees with you. That's gonna be the new policy. It's gonna be awesome.
So in other words, it's gonna be the Republican Party.
I was about to say, I thought you were gonna change things.
Yeah, basically. Okay, so
Right. So what would be different
Odinson
again?
and
All right, status quo. Status quo
Yeah.
over here.
Anyway, I have to pee.
All right. So
Thank you for letting us know, Katie.
God damn it! I waited to drink, and you still.
well,
Um,
shall
like
we
all
end it
of this.
here?
All right, I think so. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you for joining us for this breaking news. We will have tomorrow Landon Knoll on. He has gone over, he's actually been through the process of impeaching a public representative. He helped establish he helped run it through, establish the trial, and actually successfully remove the person from office. So we will be having him on again tomorrow, and we look forward to that. 9 p.m. Eastern, if I recall correctly. Hopefully we will see you then. And thank you to our guests, Mikey, Famine, and ProLib for joining us. We really appreciate it. Always love having you guys on. Thank you very much for all the super chats. That was really entertaining. Once again, the president of the United States is now the third person in American history, third president in American history to be impeached. Thank you all for joining us.
Good night.
He's gone now. Just you and me. You may have heard about the new Ansgar Odinson mugs at the End Time store. They're good, fine, if you're into that sort of thing. But why get an Ansgar Odinson mug from the End Time store when you could have a Nicholas Lamar Soutter mug from the End Time store? I think we know there's no comparison. Go check out our online store and check out the new Nicholas Lamar Soutter coffee mugs. I think you'll be glad you did. Don't tell him we had this conversation.